The mind has a strange habit. It keeps returning to whatever the heart has not yet placed in God's hands. Not everything needs another explanation. Not everything must be understood before it can be released. Sometimes peace begins with one simple decision to stop carrying alone what you can surrender to God. There are moments we revisit because we are searching for clarity. We go back over a sentence, a pause, a look, or the way something ended. We wonder whether we understood it correctly. We imagine what we could have said more clearly. We try to find a different ending by rearranging the same details in our minds. But the mind cannot rewrite what has already happened. It can only rehearse it. Maybe there is something you still need to learn. Maybe there is something you need to make right. Maybe there is a wise next step that God will show you. But not every question must be solved in this moment, and not every outcome belongs in your hands. God is not asking you to deny what mattered. He is not asking you to pretend that words have no weight or that misunderstandings never affect the heart. He is inviting you to bring the whole moment into His presence, the parts you understand, the parts you regret, the parts you cannot control, and the parts that still feel unfinished. You can come honestly, even with questions that do not yet have answers. And perhaps that is where release begins, not when every detail has been settled, but when you stop asking your own mind to carry what only God can hold. So take a slow breath. Let your shoulders soften. You are not stepping away from truth. You are stepping away from the need to control every conclusion. There may be something for tomorrow. There may be a word to speak, an apology to offer, a boundary to keep, or a silence to respect. But tomorrow's wisdom does not have to be forced tonight. God can prepare you without pressure. He can correct you without shaming you. He can guide you without fear driving the process. For now, let His word meet you in the place where your thoughts have multiplied. Let His comfort become more present than your questions. Let the peace of Christ have the final word. When anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. Psalm 94-19. Maybe your mind has been moving from one thought to another, trying to make sense of every word, every pause, and every possible meaning. What began as one small question may have slowly become many. One memory leads to another. One concern grows into several imagined outcomes. Before long, you are carrying not only what happened, but everything you fear it might mean. Yet there is something deeply comforting in the honesty of this verse. The psalmist does not hide the crowded thoughts within him. He does not wait until his emotions are organized or his questions are resolved. He simply brings what is happening inside him into the presence of God. Maybe this verse meets you in that same place. You may not have the right words for everything. You may only know that your thoughts have become too many to sort through on your own. Perhaps you do not need to untangle everything right now. Perhaps you only need to let God meet you in the middle of what still feels unsettled. His comfort may not answer every question at once. It may not immediately explain another person's intentions or show you exactly what will happen next. But it can remind your heart that you are not alone inside the uncertainty. God's comfort can soften the need to keep searching for certainty. It can bring you back from the future you have been imagining and return you to the grace that is available now. It can help you breathe again without requiring you to understand everything first. But God can still change what is happening within you. His presence can become steadier than your questions and stronger than your assumptions. You do not have to force yourself to feel better. You can simply allow God to be near. Lord, you see every thought I have been trying to understand. You know how one question has become many and how easily my mind returns to what I cannot change. Meet me here with your comfort. Quiet what fear has added. Steady what feels unsettled. Bring me back to what is true. and help me rest in the assurance that you are near. Maybe peace does not begin when every question has been answered. Maybe it begins when another voice becomes stronger than the ones competing within us. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you are called to peace. And be thankful. Colossians 3:15. There may be several voices asking for the final word within you. Regret may keep returning to what you wish you had done differently. Fear may be imagining what could happen next. Pride may still be preparing an explanation. Uncertainty may be asking you to keep searching for an answer. And yet, beneath all that noise, Christ offers his peace. His peace is not denial. It does not ask you to pretend that nothing matters. It does not erase responsibility or silence wisdom. It simply creates enough quiet within you to respond from a steadier place. Maybe you still need guidance for what comes next. There may be words to speak, something to acknowledge, a question to ask, or simply a moment to wait. But you do not have to let pressure choose your next step. You can allow peace to create space between what happened and how you respond. You may not be able to control how someone else thinks, feels, or reacts. You cannot force understanding. You cannot guarantee forgiveness. You cannot make another person respond with the tenderness you hope to receive. But your heart does not have to be ruled by that uncertainty. Let the quiet presence of Jesus become steadier than regret, gentler than fear, and stronger than the need to control the outcome. His peace can help you do your part while trusting him with everything beyond it. Maybe the final word does not have to belong to what was said, what was left unsaid, or what you are afraid might happen next. Maybe the final word can belong to Christ, Jesus. Let your peace become the strongest voice within me. Guide anything I still need to do, but do not let fear, regret, or pressure lead me. Give me humility where I need to listen, courage where I need to speak, and patience where I need to wait. Help me move forward with wisdom and a heart that rests in you. Father, I bring you everything my mind keeps returning to. I bring you the words I remember clearly and the moments I may not be remembering accurately. I bring you the questions, the pauses, the reactions, and the details I have examined again and again. You already know the full story. You know what was spoken, what was meant, what was misunderstood, and what remained unspoken. I do not need to organize it perfectly before bringing it to you. Receive it as it is. Meet me in the parts that feel clear and in the parts I still do not understand. Hold what I cannot sort out. Let this prayer become the place where I stop carrying the whole moment alone. Lord, release me from the belief that one more hour of analysis will give me complete control. Help me recognize when reflection has become repetition and when the search for clarity has become a demand for certainty. I confess that more thinking has not always brought more peace. Some things may become clearer with time. Other things may never be fully explained. Teach me to live peacefully without demanding perfect understanding. Give me permission to pause. Let my mind stop working on what it cannot solve. Remind me that stepping away is not the same as avoiding truth. Sometimes it is simply trusting you enough to wait. God, show me the difference between what actually happened and what fear has added to it. Help me notice where I have taken one moment and built an entire future around it, where I have assumed the worst. Bring me back to truth. Where I have interpreted silence as rejection, remind me that I do not know everything. Where I have treated a possibility as a certainty, slow me down. Return me to what is real. Keep imagined outcomes from becoming heavier than reality. Give me a clear mind, a humble heart, and the patience to let truth unfold in its proper time. I do not want fear to write a story that you have not written. Father, gently show me whether there was anything in my words, tone, timing, or attitude that did not reflect your heart. I do not want to defend myself automatically. I want to be teachable in your presence. If I spoke too quickly, help me acknowledge it. If I listened only to respond, teach me to listen with greater care. If pride shaped my words, soften me. If frustration made me harsher than I intended, reveal it without crushing me. Show me what belongs to me without leading me into shame. Give me the humility to name what needs to change, and the grace to believe that growth is still possible. Prepare me to take responsibility without turning one mistake into my identity. Lord, I cannot return to the exact moment and choose different words. I cannot step back into the past and change my tone, listen longer, or respond with greater wisdom, but I can bring my regret to you. Where I spoke too quickly, forgive me. Where I misunderstood, give me humility. Where I failed to listen, teach me to listen better. Where I allowed emotion to lead me, help me grow in patience and self-control. Do not let regret become a room where I punish myself. Let it become a doorway into wisdom. Show me what I can learn, what I can repair, and what I must release. You can redeem what I cannot rewrite and still form something good within me. Jesus, do not let one imperfect moment become the definition of who I am. Do not let my mind take one failure, one awkward response, or one poor choice and use it as evidence that I am beyond grace. You correct me without crushing me. You reveal truth without removing hope. Your conviction is specific and leads me toward change. Condemnation is vague, relentless, and keeps me circling the same shame. Help me recognize the difference. I receive the kind of correction that makes me more honest, more humble, and more loving. I reject the voice that tells me I must keep punishing myself to prove that I care. Your grace is still present here. I can admit where I was wrong and still believe that I am loved. God, if I need to apologize, clarify something, or take responsibility, give me courage. Help me not to hide behind explanations or wait for the other person to move first when you are asking me to act. Teach me to speak without excuses. Let my words be simple, honest, and free from manipulation. Keep me from using an apology to force forgiveness, reassurance, or a certain response. Let me do what is right because it reflects your heart, not because I can control what happens afterward. Prepare my heart before you prepare my words. Give me the willingness to listen. Help me care more about truth and healing than about protecting my image. When the right moment comes, help me walk into it with humility, steadiness, and grace. Lord, show me whether another discussion is necessary. Not every silence needs to be filled, and not every unfinished feeling requires an immediate response. Sometimes wisdom speaks. Sometimes wisdom waits. Sometimes wisdom asks a question. Sometimes wisdom gives space. Keep me from reacting too quickly simply because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. Do not let urgency become my guide when patience may be the wiser path. If I need to speak, give me the right words, the right time, and the right spirit. If I need to wait, help me wait without rehearsing fear. If I need to let something go, give me freedom to stop reopening it. I trust that your guidance does not have to arrive through panic. You can make the next step clear in peace. Father, I cannot control how another person understands me. I cannot control whether they agree, forgive, respond, remain silent, or need more time. I release their reaction into your hands. Help me remain responsible for my character without becoming responsible for every opinion another person holds about me. Keep me from measuring my peace by their response, or tying my worth to whether I receive the reassurance I hoped for. I will do the part you place before me, but I will not carry the part that belongs to someone else. You are present in what I can see and in what I cannot. I trust you with the outcome. God, part of me wants to explain everything until no one can misunderstand me. I want every motive to be seen accurately and every intention to be interpreted kindly, but even sincere words can be received differently than intended. Even careful explanations cannot guarantee perfect understanding. Remind me that you know my heart completely. You see the motives I expressed well and the ones I struggled to communicate. You know where I was sincere, where I was confused, and where I still need to grow. Let being known by you become more important than being perfectly understood by everyone. Free me from the exhausting need to manage every impression. Help me speak truthfully, live consistently, and leave the rest with you. My peace does not have to depend on controlling how I appear in another person's mind. Lord, I also give you the words that came from someone else. I do not need to deny their effect, minimize what I felt, or pretend that everything was acceptable. You know which words stayed with me. You know which tone I keep hearing and which sentence has tried to define the whole moment. Help me receive what is useful, reject what is untrue, and release what does not belong in my heart. If there was truth I need to consider, give me humility. If there was unfairness, give me discernment. If there was anger, do not let it become my inner voice. Guard me from repeating those words against myself. Let your voice become clearer than any careless judgment. Remind me that another person's frustration does not have the authority to name my identity. Father, your word says, when anxiety was great within me, your consolation brought me joy. My thoughts have multiplied. But your comfort is greater than their number. Enter every crowded place within my mind. Meet the questions I cannot answer and the feelings I cannot easily name. Let your consolation bring quietness where there has been noise, perspective where there has been confusion, and renewed joy where I have become emotionally tired. I do not ask you to explain everything at once. I ask you to be present enough that I no longer feel alone inside it. Bring me back to the simple truth that you are here. You understand what I cannot express. You are not overwhelmed by what overwhelms me. Let your nearness become the place where my thoughts finally begin to rest. Lord, I surrender every debate I have continued in my imagination. I release the answers I keep practicing, the defenses I keep preparing, and the outcomes I keep trying to predict. I do not need to keep proving my point in an empty room. I do not need to rehearse every possible objection or create another version of the same moment. Give me freedom from arguments that are happening only within me. Help me recognize when my mind has returned to a place you are asking me to leave. Replace the need to win with the desire to walk in wisdom. Replace mental noise with a quiet trust in you. When I feel the cycle beginning again, help me pause and pray. God, this belongs to you. Jesus, your word says, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts. Let your peace make the final decision within me. When fear says, keep thinking, let peace say, you can release this. When regret says, punish yourself, let grace say, learn and move forward. When uncertainty says, control the outcome, let faith say, God is already there. Do not let pressure become the voice I obey. Let your presence slow me down, steady my breathing, and soften my heart. If there is something I need to do, guide me without panic. If there is nothing more I can do, help me accept that without guilt. May your peace not merely visit me for a moment. May it rule. May it shape how I remember, how I respond, and how I walk into tomorrow. Father, I release the unfinished parts, the unanswered message, the unspoken explanation, the apology I may never receive, the response I cannot predict, and the resolution that may require time. I have wanted everything tied together neatly. I have wanted certainty, closure, and a clear ending. But some things remain open longer than I would choose. You are not limited by what remains unfinished. Continue working where I cannot see. Protect me from forcing an ending simply because waiting feels difficult. Give me patience with the process and trust in your timing. I place every loose end in your hands. What I cannot complete, you can still hold. What I cannot resolve, you can still redeem. What I cannot understand, you can still use for wisdom, growth, and grace. Lord, teach me that peace does not have to wait until everything is resolved. I can have peace while waiting for clarity. I can have peace while preparing to make something right. I can have peace even when another person's heart remains outside my control. Your peace is not the reward for solving everything. It is the gift of your presence. Help me stop postponing rest until every question is answered. Help me stop telling myself that I must first understand, fix, or predict everything. I choose to receive what you are offering now. Not certainty about every outcome, but confidence in your care. Not control over every response, but trust in your wisdom. Let peace become my posture before resolution arrives. Let it guard my words, guide my next step, and keep my heart from drifting back into fear. God, tomorrow may bring an opportunity to speak, listen, apologize, forgive, set a boundary, or simply move forward. Whatever tomorrow requires, you will give me grace when I arrive there. I do not need tomorrow's words tonight. I do not need to prepare for every possible reaction. I do not need to solve a future moment that has not yet come. I only need your presence now. Hold what I cannot carry and prepare me for whatever comes next. Give me a clear mind when it is time to decide, a gentle spirit when it is time to speak, and courage when it is time to act. I place tomorrow in your hands. Go before me into every meeting, every message, every silence, and every next step. Let me rest knowing that I will not face any of it alone. Take a quiet moment and ask yourself a few gentle questions, not to judge yourself, but to notice what God may be bringing into focus. Am I remembering what truly happened? Or am I reacting to what I fear it meant? Ask God to separate what happened from what fear has added. Is there something God is inviting me to correct? There may be a word to clarify, an apology to offer, or a pattern God is gently revealing. Am I carrying responsibility for another person's reaction? You can care deeply without carrying another person's entire response. Do I need to speak again, or do I need to allow time and space? Sometimes love reaches out, and sometimes wisdom waits. What would it look like to let Christ's peace have the final word? Maybe it means ending the imaginary debate, preparing one honest apology, or releasing the need to be understood. You do not need to answer every question immediately. Simply allow God to bring one truth into focus. Perhaps you have done all you can for now, or perhaps one small step of humility remains. You may also notice that the heart often asks for certainty when what it truly needs is permission to release control. Certainty says, I can rest only when I know how this will end. Faith says, I can rest because God will remain faithful, whatever the ending becomes. This does not mean becoming careless or refusing responsibility. It means allowing tomorrow's decisions to be made with tomorrow's grace. You can write down the step you believe you need to take, pray over it, and then stop rehearsing it. You can leave room for God to correct your understanding before you act. Ask yourself one final question. Am I seeking a wise next step, or am I trying to remove every trace of uncertainty? Wisdom may give you one small action. The need for control will demand an entire outcome. God may not show you the whole path, but He can faithfully illuminate the next step. Whatever comes into focus, receive it gently. God's peace can lead without pressure. I do not have to solve everything in my mind. I can learn without condemning myself. I can take responsibility without carrying what belongs to someone else. I can seek peace without avoiding truth. I can make things right without controlling the outcome. I do not have to rehearse every possible response. I do not have to be perfectly understood by everyone. I am fully known by God. His comfort is greater than my multiplying thoughts. His truth is stronger than my assumptions. His grace is present in every imperfect place. His wisdom will meet me when the next step becomes clear. His peace has the final word within me. What I cannot rewrite, I can release. What I cannot control, I can place in God's hands. What remains unfinished is not beyond His care. I will not let fear decide what happens next. I will not let regret define who I am. I will move forward with humility, wisdom, and grace. I will allow the peace of Christ to rule in my heart. Father, thank you for receiving everything I have brought before you. Thank you that I did not have to arrange it perfectly or explain every detail before coming into your presence. Take what is unresolved and hold it with wisdom greater than mine. Correct me where I need correction. Heal what needs healing. Give me courage for any step I need to take and restraint where I need to wait. Let your comfort enter every place where my thoughts have multiplied, where fear has added details. Bring me back to truth. Where regret has become punishment, lead me into grace. Where pride has prepared another defense, make my heart humble and willing to listen. Let the peace of Christ rule over every assumption, every unfinished question, every unknown response, and every outcome I cannot control. Give me wisdom for tomorrow, but do not let tomorrow steal the grace you have given me now. Prepare any words I need to speak and my heart to listen. Where no action is needed, help me let go. Where time is required, give me patience. The final word does not belong to what was said. It does not belong to what was left unsaid. It does not belong to the fear of what may happen next. The final word belongs to you. Your comfort is greater than my crowded thoughts. Your grace is greater than my regret. Your wisdom is greater than my confusion. Your peace is stronger than the need to control. I place every word, every pause, every reaction, and every unfinished part in your hands. Keep my heart soft, my mind clear, and my spirit at rest. Let me move forward without carrying yesterday into every new moment. Thank you for staying near. Thank you for understanding what I cannot express. Thank you for holding what I cannot carry. In Jesus' name, Amen. Before you leave, ask yourself this. What are you still trying to settle in your mind that God is inviting you to place in His hands? Is it the need to explain yourself, the desire to be understood, the regret over something you cannot rewrite, the outcome you have been trying to control? You may simply write, God, Help me release what I cannot control, and consider one more question. Which voice will have the final word in your heart? Fear, regret, or the peace of Christ? May God comfort you when your thoughts begin to multiply. May He give you wisdom for anything that still needs to be addressed, grace for what cannot be changed, and freedom from every burden that was never yours to carry. May He help you recognize what belongs to you, release what does not, and guide every next step with clarity. May the peace of Christ rule within you, guard your heart, and have the final word.